On this trip, I'm in the Florida Everglades with my favorite turkey hunting partner, Janis Putelis, and a dude we barely know, but who I like more and more every minute, Richard Martinez.
That bird is working his way this way now.
We're combing this flat and swampy country in search of a Florida endemic, the Osceola wild turkey.
The only thing letting you know that they're even here is the tracks left in the sand.
And I'm here to tell you, they don't want to be found.
It's just like dead quiet. It just makes the whole hunt different when they don't gobble.
I've followed trails of all kinds, pursuing wild game through our country's wildest places. These are my stories. These are my people. I'm Stephen Ranella, and this is MeatEater.
My big question for you today, walking around, is I don't even know what to do to set up. Like, if you mean just when you set up, how far are you expecting to just be able to see?
He's shooting birds at 10 yards.
Yeah, 10, 20 yards, and that's it.
Okay, so you just if the farthest you can see is 20 yards, that's totally okay.
He said when you shoot him, he's going
Totally. Yeah.
He's like wondering what you are.
Yeah.
Wondering what that blob is.
When you shoot, you're gonna see him for a while, like, you know, looking for you, and then finally he's gonna look right at you and be like, hmm? So.
You know what he said too? He said in the thick stuff, a lot of times like they're done gobbling. They're not gonna gobble the last ways in to where they hear that call.
Right.
Yeah. You'll think you'll think you buggered him.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you just hear.
Yeah. But he's there. But he's like not gonna go pow 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 all the way up India.
Yeah, that last 50 yards, he's just looking around.
When you think of southern Florida, I'm willing to bet the first thing that pops in your head is sand and surf. It's easy to forget or to even realize that between those tourist-packed beaches, there are thousands of square miles of tropical wetland packed with panthers, black bears, bobcats, gators, white-tailed deer, more species of snakes than you can count on your fingers and toes, and over 350 species of birds, including, you know it, the Osceola turkey, which is found only in South Florida. Yanni and I first met our host, Richard Martinez, one day when we were all hanging out in Idaho. And within less than 10 minutes of meeting him, he had convinced us to apply for turkey hunting permits for one of Florida's beautifully managed public wildlife management areas on the deal that he'd show us around if we got lucky. A few years later, we did get lucky with some permits, and Richard remained true to his word.
This is where we're gonna see him, or we're gonna blow it.
His father is from Colombia, but Richard's been in Florida since he was 13. He got turned down to hunting by his uncles. He does what many Floridians will tell you is damn near impossible. He consistently bags whitetails and turkeys on public land in Florida. His trick? Don't complain, just hunt. Oh, and he scouts, and I mean he scouts a lot. Richard's already been cruising the glades for turkeys over the last month in preparation for our arrival, often camping with his family in new areas where he can walk in search of turkey tracks. He already has a few spots he wants us to check out, so he has me and Janis out in the swamps before daylight on the day before the season opener in order to listen for gobbles. Between the noise of the skeeters and the cranking wind, it's somewhat tough listening.
That was my first gobble of the spray. He's right off the trail.
For a northerner, this is an unusual landscape. The dominant tree species here is slash pine. What they call hammocks down here are slight rises in elevation, just a couple feet really, where the land usually stays dry year-round. These are colonized by live oak, mahogany, cabbage palm, and palmetto, which is the best stuff in the world for whipping up a quick ground blind. The prairies, as they call them, are these open marshy areas which are lower portions of the landscape that get seasonally flooded.
unsolicited spot. And I'm halfway between two roost locations. Couple observations from my first morning down here in Florida. The mosquitoes, about a half an hour before sunrise, were unreal. I mean, I'm talking just a cloud. So loud that I was afraid I wouldn't be able to hear the gobbles. Turns out I could hear them over the mosquitoes, but it was tough. Luckily, Richard sent me to a spot where I think they were within 500-600 yards, maybe a little bit farther. The walking is extremely quiet, which is nice along these sandy roads. So you don't really have to worry about trying to be quiet when you're walking. You're gonna be able to sneak right up on birds, but the woods have gone quiet. It's hard for me even to call this stuff woods. It's like the jungle. There's a pond right here. We're gonna get to the edge of it. On the other side of the pond is a hammock. And there's birds in there for sure. I know they're there, but I just want to hear them and feel good about tomorrow. I just hope this wind doesn't pick up soon. And I'm pretty sure that that bird we heard is working his way this way now. Because he sounds like he's like kind of, it doesn't matter what we do, he's still the same. Yeah. That crow should be getting a gobble.
As the sun gets higher, the mosquitoes subside a bit, but so do the distant gobbles we heard at dawn. But by late morning, Richard and I stumble on something even better than a turkey's gobble. It's the gobbler himself.
I just saw a hen. I don't know if there's a gobbler, but that's exactly where I saw a gobbler last weekend. You see him through there, Richard? Yeah. I think there's more that way. There's a whole bunch. Yeah. So we've been hearing a couple gobblers all morning. And I think this is probably one of the ones we've been hearing. Got a couple of hens. It'd be easy to get all excited, but it's like so hard to say what other guys are gonna do tomorrow. This dude's gobbling real close to the road. Richard thinks there's a pretty good chance that people will know about him. So any dude who's just listening off the roads is probably gonna pick him up in the morning, you know. That's my gobble noise. That's exactly where he was last weekend. When you're telling the turkey story and you get to the part where he gobbles, what noise do you make? That's right. That's exactly what it sounds like, dude.
With the afternoon approaching and the wind picking up, Richard feels like our chances of hearing anything are dropping significantly, so we decide to pack it in and rendezvous with Janis to see what he turned up.
I'm gonna need the rest of the day to marinate on that.
Because you didn't hear the birds you wanted to hear?
Yeah.
And you don't like the birds we know about because you think that everybody's gonna know about them.
I like that he came back towards us and then went back to the road.
You know?
So I feel like you could get back behind him, call him into you, and have it be done before he makes it back to the road.
Mm-hmm. Being that it's opening morning tomorrow, I mean, we were there early today.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, should I be earlier than I was today?
Probably, yeah.
Won't hurt, right?
Won't hurt,
You can always just sit out in the woods and get eaten by mosquitoes.
I mean, the best thing you could do is, you know, somebody walks into an area and you shine them, be like, hey, you know, got here first.
And I saw quite a few tracks in the sand on the road.
Sure, man.
So they're obviously on it at some point
That's what
too.
they're doing, yeah, all day. Especially in this wind like that, they're just like cruising those roads.
Oh, man, like, we each heard multiple gobbles.
Yeah, no, we're good. I feel great. It's the dilemma. It's a good dilemma, right? It's not like, what do we do tomorrow? Nobody heard nothing. So it's a good problem.
No, we got a good place to start.
Yeah.
It's opening day and we've parked ourselves in the best area based on yesterday's listening session. But this morning it's foggy as hell, which means turkey behavior will be less predictable.
When they're reacting to this fog, do they stay in the roost? Or do they book it? But like if he's on that prairie, as soon as he can see the ground, he'll probably fly down. I'd put money on that bird is the second bird we heard yesterday, because that's right where I was hearing it.
They're definitely quieter today, and they weren't exactly lighting the place up yesterday. It's almost certainly a result of the fog. Maybe it's dampening the sounds they normally respond to, or maybe they just don't want to make a lot of racket when visibility is low and the chances of getting nailed by a predator are high. Across the way, Janis is having the same struggles.
They're not gobbling as hard as they did yesterday, and I'm guessing it's because of this fog. And hopefully this will clear a little bit, and maybe that'll get them to fire off a little bit. A big difference between here and where I'm used to hunting in Montana is that we don't have dense, thick forest like this. And the turkeys live in fairly open country. And so if you're having a morning like this, where you can't get on them using a call, you can usually go up to a high point in glass and find a flock or a couple gobblers off somewhere strutting, and if you want to, sneak over there and just bushwhack them.
Eventually, the rising sun starts to burn off a bit of the fog.
I want to sit down there and call.
We slip into that area where we saw the gobbler yesterday and decide to hunker in and try a long wait with some quiet calling. An hour or so goes by, and I'm getting surprised that no trucks or folks have come down the road yet when I catch a glimpse of movement coming our way. It's a tom, silent bobbing his way in to check out what he thinks is a hen that has been calling. Every part of my body is urging me to shoot, but Richard has an opening day success streak several years long, so we're gonna let him take first crack. The wait is torture.
Nice work, dude. Congratulations, man. Thanks. Silent Bob, dude.
Yeah. Osceola's at 9 o'clock.
Dude, those spurs are nice, man.
Yeah.
I first saw the head down there, but not even enough to tell if it was a hen or a gobbler.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, a gobbler head walked by, and I saw you aiming, and then he popped out, and I was like, man, if you don't pull that trigger, I'm gonna pull the trigger.
Yeah, at some point, I tried to look over at you to see if you were pointed at him.
No, I was not. When we were scouting, this is that spot where we popped out on the road, and we were looking down, and there's two hens and a gobbler, and that's right there. This is that bird. He ain't a bad bird. No, man. You know what? I don't mean to knock on you. Those are small, like not him. But it's just down here. It's a smaller turkey.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
totally.
I was a little surprised when we walked up.
I'll take small birds all day long.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
They're just not like 26-pound Wisconsin cornbread mega gobblers, you know. That's great, man. I'm glad for you. That was fun.
In this heat, that bird will spoil quick, a lesson I learned the hard way. So instead of staying out, we decided to get it back to the house where we can put it on ice. I'll try for my bird tomorrow. The next day, Richard joins Janis, and I take my turn at going it alone.
It's foggy as hell. Haven't heard any gobbles. The morning we scouted, there was a ton of gobbles. Yesterday there's a couple gobbles. Today's foggier. Trusting they're not gonna be ripping this morning. I think I'm gonna do is set up right near here. Just calm. Maybe sit for a couple hours. Just listening. See if I can pick up a ripper.
Meanwhile, Richard and Janis stay mobile throughout the morning.
It's another foggy morning.
Oh yeah. Not expecting too many gobbles.
But they're finding it tough to pin down the few birds that they do hear.
Oh, there goes one.
Now, was that coincidence or did he answer my call?
I think that was coincidence.
Too far.
He's far, yeah. Just keep working our way over there.
All of my calls sound damper than they do in Montana. Like this call usually just like bust your eardrums. And it almost sounds soft right now.
I haven't heard squat for gobbles all morning, but I told myself that I was going to sit here for 3 hours no matter what, so get used to it. The epitome of turkey hunting is working a bird that gobbles a few dozen times on his way in, but I'm resigned to the idea of this being a potentially silent morning.
Came in quiet, just like yesterday. That's an Osceola turkey. Man, without the gobbling, it's weird, man. It's just like dead quiet. It just makes the whole hunt different when they don't gobble. Yeah, it's hard to explain. It's exciting, but to have a turkey hunt where you don't hear a gobble all morning, times like that, I think doing what I did is the smartest thing to do is just sit and in every 10 or 15 minutes, call and sit and call and sit and call, because they might not be gobbling, but they're still turkeys.
Gobble or no gobble, Getting a bird down here still feels pretty damn good, especially after so many years of trying to get a permit. And even though he wasn't sitting next to me, I recognize that I owe this bird fully to Richard's help. Meanwhile, Richard's feeling like he and Yanni are going in circles, so they decide to change their tactics.
Let's sit down and call for a little while. And go back in there, tuck in there. It's probably a good idea to commit like 10, 15, 20 minutes to it, because just like yesterday, I could hear one gobbling in the distance, but the one that came in was not.
Turns out, it was the right move.
There's two heads coming down the road. There's more coming. Some of them are going out into the prairie. You got him. Oh, buddy. Nice beard, man. Holy smokes. That was pretty intense. Yeah, that was long. All right, my first Osceola.
There you go.
Oh, man. I sure love hunting these things. To me, I don't know if there's many prettier things in nature than those colors right there.
Yeah, the iridescence. See how those bars don't go
Yeah.
all the way through?
So that's one of the main characteristics.
Yeah, main character
Of an Osceola,
yeah,
right?
Those bars, those broken bars, and then obviously the weight. It's a smaller bird, but then those legs are a little bit longer than like an Eastern or a Merriam. Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you, thank you. Appreciate the hospitality.
Absolutely. I'm glad I could share this with you.
With everyone's tag filled, Richard wants to share with us his favorite method of preparing wild turkeys based on dishes from his father's native land.
Is this something that you've made before for your family? Or are you just trying it out on us?
No, I've experimented at home. So I wanted to kind of figure out how to adapt wild turkey to something South American. And I grew up eating arepas, mostly Colombian style, which I'm gonna make two different styles for you. One's gonna be a Colombian style, one's gonna be a Venezuelan style. So both of these recipes are normally based with chicken. So I kind of adapted it. We put the turkey in a slow cooker overnight. So it braised like 8 hours, falling off the bone, shredded it, chopped it up. It's two different sauces. One's a hogao, which is Colombian, and the other one is reina pepiada, which translates to curvy queen.
Curvy queen.
Curvy queen. It's kind of like a guacamole, chicken salad.
Oh, it's got the turkey.
It's like a chicken salad guacamole. Yeah, the turkey's in there.
Ah, I got you now.
Yeah.
So is that not guacamole because it has mayo?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my kind of dish.
Yeah? All right.
Is it wrong to say you're making a real thick tortilla?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty close.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it common to cook it on a grill?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people will cook it on like a cast iron and then put it in the oven to finish it off.
Yeah.
But this is my dad's favorite, so when I go over there, that's how he makes them. And then the Colombian one, the hogao sauce, basically like a Creole sauce, tomato-based.
Now, your wife's Cuban. Does she make Cuban wild turkey dishes?
Oh, yeah.
She does?
Yeah. She's more crazy about the hog, though, because that's more adaptable to beef
She likes
that
the
she
wild
grew up
pigs.
with. Oh, yeah. She likes cooking with pig. I have to always beg her to utilize the deer more, because every time I get to
Oh, really?
deer season, there's still deer left over, and I'm like, we gotta get through that venison, because I like to hunt with the freezer empty. Puts the pressure on.
Yeah.
So.
They really hold together, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are on point.
If my kid saw that, he'd think he was looking at a sugar cookie.
Venezuelans, they like to cut them and then put it inside the arepa. The Colombians, they like to leave it flat.
Here's what I think about the evolution of this dish. I think that was a modification. I think a Venezuelan was visiting a friend in Colombia and was served this.
He's like,
He went home and was gonna make it for his kids, and he knew that they were gonna make a total mess out of that, and he turned it into a thinking man's pita pocket.
Could be.
I think in honor of it being my first Osceola, in honor of Richard, I'm gonna have to make this dish at home with my Osceola.
You think so?
Seems fitting.
All right.
And Yanni.
Thank you, sir.
You can dig in.
Yep.
So tell me again the name.
This is the hogao sauce, and the Venezuelan one is the Reina Pepiada, the Curvy Queen.
Curvy Queen is in the pocket.
It's in the pocket.
Very good. The arepa's good.
Awesome. Glad you enjoy it.
I don't mean to disparage your father's homeland, but I like the green. I mean, I like them both, but I prefer the green.
Fair enough.
Growing up in Michigan, in my area, if someone left Michigan, it was probably to go to Florida. But you would go to the beach, and you'd look out the ocean, and you never paid. It just didn't even occur. It didn't occur to you that there was
Stuff behind you. Now, a lot of people, they don't think of Florida like that, you know? Like it's like a backcountry type state with, you know, big wild places, but you'd be surprised. It's pretty special what we have here, and
Oh, it's a beautiful spot, man.
yeah.
For a public land hunt, we had a fantastic experience.
Yeah. W May is beautiful, man.
Yeah. And we almost lost it all. Like, for a long time, there was no intention to keep it, right? Like, it was wasteland. And the idea was we were gonna make it usable, right?
Anytime someone has the fortitude to stop development of a place, they face intense pressure and criticism while it's happening. And then down the road, they become a celebrated figure, and you get your face carved into Mount Rushmore, and millions of people go to look at you every year, and they will not remember that at the time that you did that, you were an anti-American villain.
Stopping progress. So
I'm glad someone caught on.
yeah. It's
And
not
now we get
perfect.
to enjoy it, man.
Yep. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's something.